Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to the painting part of this build that we're doing. Now this part of the video is going to both be a video all on the painting process, the painting and the clear coating. It will go out on a video of its own, but it will also go out on part of the series of the build that we're working on, which is, we'll just have a look across my filthy desk, is this. Okay, so this is what we're building, and we got to paint it that color, which we've got is going to be done in the Outlaw Paints. Okay, so let me just bring back down to it here. Now this part here, the front spoiler, I'm still working on that. As you can see, I've got some photo etch parts that I'm gluing together. They need to go on each end of it. Once they're on, the whole thing can be painted along with all the other parts. I'll give you a quick look at where we're up to on the actual build. There it is there. You'll notice I've already done that top piece because I needed to do that earlier to fit it onto the frame and to be able to fit the roll bar and parts to it. So that part's already done. But now we're on to all the other parts, which is the sides, the front spoiler or air dam, and the rear wing. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll just go have a look over into the other room where my spray booth is, and we'll go and have a look at exactly what parts we're about to paint. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, so let's do a quick walk through my spray area. See a bit of a collection of the Outlaw Paint selection there. Going across my filthy work area of my spray booth. A big thanks to Jason of Outlaw Paints who gave me that. Thank you very much. Unbelievable how useful that's been. So there's our air hose. Quite a nice view out there. View of Sydney. Anyway, let's get on with this. So here's all the other parts we need to do and paint. Alright, so we've got our cockpit here. All these parts have all been cleaned in warm soapy dishwashing liquid and isopropyl, all wiped down with isopropyl. Okay, we've got our two spoilers on the side there. I've got a bit of tape stuck on my hand. Let me fix that. Alright, so there's our two side spoilers. Parts are already blue, but obviously we're going to do a better job than Tamiya has. That chrome piece here, this is the front, goes under that front spoiler that we saw earlier. And this is actually black. So that's why I can't have it on there. It's got to be painted separately. So we've got to paint that gloss black. Here's the rear spoiler, which I made up just a short time ago, and it's looking nice. We've got the let's try and get that off and you can have a look. We've got the chrome ends on that, and yeah, so that's all ready to be painted as well. These little pieces here go in the front spoiler as well. They're going to be painted separately because there's some parts that photo etch parts that they actually sit onto, which are painted different. Okay, and of course there's the surrounds for the outside of the cockpit, which I've already undercoated quite a few weeks ago because I needed to get work on the front seam line and tidy that up a bit. Now I have to remember that the inside, even though this is going to be done blue, the inside of that will be black. Okay, but for the moment the goal is to get all this primed. That's where we want to do. So here's my Outlaw Paints bulk bottle of primer. Can't get enough of that, so thank you, Jason. Always need primer. And of course here's our blue, which also has been custom done with my own YouTube channel name, Scalemodeling Blue, OSM Blue, which is pretty much the exact color we need for this car. It's beautiful. Look at that. Alright, while I'm here, I will show you the diamond clear that we're going to use for the, let me just cover this up. If you notice, I move that out of the way. Okay, that's how I keep dust off things. Alright, so this is our 2K Diamond Clear from the Outlaw Paints. Fantastic stuff. I've used it once before on a little Honda Gorilla motorbike I did. You can see that video if you go back in the playlist. There's all our bits for it, our measuring, our proportions. There's our thinner, 2K thinner there. Our Part A and our Part B hardener, Part A clear, 2 of them. And this stuff is just fantastic, as we will see. There's our instructions for it as well. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll get myself set up here for painting. I'll get the spray booth ready to go. Like I said, sorry about the mess, but you know, it's well used, that's for sure. And yeah, I'll set the camera up and we'll be able to watch a bit of painting happening. Now, the compressor's quite noisy, and so is the exhaust fan on the back of the booth, so there won't be any sound during the spraying. We'll have a bit of nice, not too relaxing music playing in the background, and probably speed it up a bit. We'll see how it goes, and we'll have a look at getting some undercoat on and also demonstrate just how easy this stuff is to spray. So one other thing I will mention is this is not an expensive airbrush. I've had this for probably almost a year now. It's a Mr. Hobby airbrush. Only worth $150 odd or so. They're a great brush, does a great job for what I do. The needle is a 0.3, I think, if I remember right. Seriously, the way this thing's bashed around, it's still going. It's amazing. I've got a spare just in case, but it's fantastic. But yeah, there's our airbrush, and that's all I used. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need expensive equipment for these Outlaw Paints, as you will see. All right, I shall come back and I'll now get some spraying done. All right, I'll be back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So there it is. We've got all our undercoat primer, Outlaw Paints primer on them. Went on really nice, as you saw. They're all dry now, so really beautiful coverage, as you can tell. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Okay. There's our photo etch piece. Looking good. All right. Now, what I'm going to do now is I've finished that piece with the photo etch on either side. I've glued them on. So now I need to paint that. I'll go and prime that piece up now and add it to these. And then we can go and get some colour happening. So, yeah, I'll be back shortly. Hey, welcome back, and here's just a bit of an update on the tyres. I've done the 2 coats on there. I'm just going to let them dry. Come up quite good. I'm happy with them. A bit they stand out a bit much, so I'll be dulling it down a bit. I'll probably use some weathering powder from Tamiya just to dull that down a little bit. The front wheels, I'm not going to put any. I'm not going to try to attempt to do them. It's just too small. There's no way I can do that. And I've checked all my reference photos, and most views of the car, both racing and other places I've seen it, there's usually nothing on here. They're usually black. There's no lettering, so I'm going to leave them as they are. Okay. I'm at a point now where there's nothing else I can do other than waiting for the paint to dry, as we'll go back to that and progress a bit further on that. Okay, we're back shortly. Okay, hello, welcome back. So, before I bring out the parts that are all painted up in the Scalemodeling blue, there's something I forgot about before we can put the 2K on, is we've got to put decals on, of course. Completely slipped my mind. So, so there's our decal sheet, and there's a few more on the back there. And yeah, these have to go on obviously before you put our 2K over. So yeah, let me bring out the painted parts and we'll have a look at how they came up. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, here we go. So this is our blue that we used. Now there's still almost half a bottle left to give you an idea of how much was used. Okay, the Outlaw Paints blue. Now, what I'll do is I'll bring them out one at a time and we'll just have a look at this paint. Now, you saw the way I painted, right? I've only been modelling for, for 3 years, all right? Never touched an airbrush or paint or even a model, really, since then. So I don't have anywhere near the experience of other people. But what you're going to see is basically what myself at my level of experience is capable of using Outlaw Paints. And that's one of the big highlights of this paint, is just the ease of use. All right. There's no mixing anything with this. There's no thinning it. There's no putting, it's ready to go. Leveling, thinners, you don't need none of that. It's ready to go. And as you saw, that's exactly what I did. My technique is my technique, works for me. Here we go. Let's have a look. So here's the rear wing. There you go. There's the rear wing. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Now, I've got to be careful because this one's the only piece that isn't on something I can hold. Well, let's have a look at it. There we go. Just so you can see it properly. Look at that. Look at the finish on that. You know? I mean, absolutely amazing, isn't it? There you go. Just think what that's going to look like when it's got the Diamond 2K clear on it. Okay? Really, it's going to be incredible. There you go. All right, so that's that. Let's have a look at another piece. This is the front spoiler. Okay, so we've got that done. You can see how that's come up. Again, beautiful. Look at that. Okay. Now, I didn't do the underside because that's going to have a piece on it. But I did do all around the back there, so that's all covered. But there you go. And look at that. Beautiful. Now, I do have to do the black on the inside of where the air goes through and gets picked up by the vents that take it to the engine. And there's some photo etch to go on the front here. I will do that before I do the 2K clear. So that'll be something we'll be doing pretty much shortly. Okay, so that's that. Now let's have a look at the front of the, this is the where your driver's compartment sits around. there's some glass to go in there, the windows where you can look down and see the wheels. But again, look at that, you know, finished off beautifully. Now the instructions on this told me to do the inside of this black. I didn't do it black because, well, for instance, the car itself, that isn't black. All right, so I've done the whole thing blue. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Okay, but as you can see, beautiful coverage on that. Let's have a look at the driver's seat now. Back there. All right, so there's our driver's seat. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. I mean, the paint just self-levels. I had no problems getting in there doing that seat down in there. And, you know, I've discovered, like, when you've got to spray areas like that, the amount of spray, I'm sorry it's not focused. Let me just try and get that because I need you to see in there just how nice and clear that is. Let me just make some adjustments here. Focus is going to come up a bit. I think that's a bit better there. There we go. All right. So sometimes you get that effect when you're spraying in areas like this where the excess spray is going off and hitting the sides and it ends up like a sandpaper effect, you know, and it looks like it's bloody cemented on. But this, no, even the excess spray that comes up when you're in there, spraying just self-levels and comes up nice and smooth, as you can see. Look at that. So that's the cockpit. Now we'll have a look at one of the side skirts of the vehicle, of the Formula 1 car. There we go. So look at that. That's how that's come up. Beautiful. Look at that. You can just faintly see the line there. That's where one of the decals is going to go across, one of the yellow stripes. But, yeah. That beautiful. And then the other side, there's the other side of it there. Again, look at that finish. I mean, you'd think that was the blue plastic. You know, the paint is just like, wasn't the plastic that color? No. You can see how well that paint's gone on. Really, really nice. Look at that. Okay. So happy with that. I also gave that a bit of a spray in there where you can see that that's sort of where the back wheel is in behind that guard there. All right, now let's have a look at that front skirt. This piece was completely photo etch. All right, that was all photo etch metal. So you've primed and sprayed straight onto the metal. That's going to go on the front of that front spoiler. Sit on there. Look at the finish. Look at that. Flawless. You know? Beautiful. And then we've got the little supports that go in the back. There they are there. They were the first ones first bits I painted. I started small. There's two of them. So again, perfect. Really nice. Okay, so that there, bring them out here, and there's all our pieces. Look at that. Sorry, this one's up high. The focus on this camera, it sort of spot focuses at one level. So there you go. Look at that. So I'm going to let this all dry for the whole day. I know I don't need to before I put decals on. You know, if I wait till maybe, I don't know, half the day, it would be all right. But just to be sure, you know, I'll do this tomorrow. And we'll put all the decals on here, okay? But again, Outlaw Paints, I don't know when you've been watching this video. It's being released at the Telford Model Show over in the UK. By the time you watch this, it'll be, well, that's in November. Okay, I think it's the 11th. And from then on, everybody in the UK can get hold of this paint quite easily because it'll be all distributed. The US again, go to the Outlaw Paints website, which is down in the links in the description, and you'll be able to see exactly who the contacts are wherever you are in the world to get hold of this. And yeah, well, it's just absolutely beautiful paint, isn't it? Look at that. So I'll be so happy when I can see everybody in the UK painting their models in Outlaw Paints, because it's just going to be a next level in your modeling. It really is. You know, I think there'll be people, if you don't have a YouTube channel now, you probably will when you want to get the word out about this, because yeah, it's at a point now where I'm just waiting and listening for all the people who have gone, wow, that stuff is just fantastic, because that's what it is, and that's what you're going to find out when you get hold of it. All right. Yeah, it's literally pretty much 100% of what I use for modeling now. I don't use anything else. And of course, I have it available. And when you do, that's going to make it so much easier for you. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call it a wrap on this video. I know I said that we'd be seeing the 2K, but that's going to happen in the next video, because at the time I didn't think of all the decals that need to go on. Yeah, so in the next video, I'll be putting all the decals on all these parts, and we'll be doing the 2K, Diamond 2K Outlaw Paints clear, which is going to look fantastic. And we'll be getting close to the end of the model by then. Other than putting in some seat belts and putting the wheels on and any other touch-ups and stuff, that'll be it. And by the way, we're going to do the decals in the scheme of the Jody Scheckler from 1976. That's the scheme for the decals that we're going to do. That's the number 3 car. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notifications tab. Make sure you hit all so you get the notifications, including the ones for my live stream I do every Friday, Thursday, depending where you are in the world. And yeah, your comments are welcome below. So if you've got any questions about the paint that you might want to ask, like, you know, from what you've seen, if you want to ask me anything, sure, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it. Yeah, don't forget to give us the thumbs up, and I'll see you all in the next video, which will be part 12. Okay, bye for now. See you all.